The earth is round, the sun is hot, and Russians steal, and they do it on a truly cosmic and immense scale. They take anything that's not nailed down, and especially anything that's well guarded and protected. Russians are especially drawn to other people's valuable and highly prized intellectual property. Maybe it's because the conditions for developing intelligence in their own country are far from ideal.
What's the name of this country?
Russia? Oh, indeed.
God help them. And
The first place, in the swamps, they love to snatch up weapons. And the Kremlin's main weapon isn't even a nuclear bomb, which they also stole. The main Wonderwaffe is television, a kind of special tool, right up there with a baton and a bottle.
Roman Pankratov, let's welcome him. Hey, this.
Happens to me every time, Alyosha. Prove it, damn it, she's lying.
Are you out of your mind or?
What? Russian television has two modes, hardcore propaganda.
Ukrainian schools were officially ordered to warm up and provide support for the brave ATO soldiers. How? Russian baby's blood, that's like a juice. They pour it in.
And then there's the entertainment, which is supposed to keep the serfs' brains from overheating. So basically, the job of entertainment is to deliver propaganda in a lighter way.
Somewhere out there, across snowy Siberia, a mobile ballistic missile complex is moving.
When it comes to entertainment content, the web-footed ones have always had issues. That's why their grabby hands started weaving all over the world, like a fan. Presenting to you the top Russian TV shows that are supposedly patriotic, but are actually copied from the much-hated Western pop culture.
Because most countries in the world are under the colossal and pervasive influence of one powerful force, which today, unfortunately, has become overtly hostile, a force that actively opposes our people.
The most Russians show, the holy of holies for every grandma from Kaliningrad to Sakhalin, Pull Chuds, is actually a ripoff of the American program Wheel of Fortune. The American show came out way back in '75. And you won't believe it, they also spin the wheel and guess the word there. And there's even a prize section.
Prize, prize, prize.
Prize, prize, prize.
Thank you.
And it was only in 1990 that Soviet TV official Anatoly Lysenko, while staying at a hotel in Paris, saw the French version of Wheel of Fortune and wanted to bring the same thing back to the USSR. He assigned Vlad Listiev to launch the project.
What a nightmare.
Listiev didn't know English, so they explained the gist of the show to him using hand gestures. B for bankrupt, P for prize, R for commercial break, a letter, A, have some tea. The rights to the Wheel of Fortune format belonged to King World Productions. But the NATO folks refused to sell the license to the commies and politely turned them down, saying they weren't interested in cooperating. They didn't realize they were dealing with Russians. The lack of a franchise license didn't stop VID Television Company, and they started producing Pull Chuds without the rights holders' involvement. By the way, Listiev took the name for the show from Alexei Tolstoy's fairy tale The Golden Key, or The Adventures of Buratino, and that's pretty symbolic, because Buratino is basically a ripoff of Carlo Collodi's Pinocchio.
I never would have thought that Pull Chuds is so much like a dumpster.
Gradually, the Western spirit faded from Pull Chuds, and the show turned into something between One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Sergei Bezrukov's Mushroom Dream.
$50 points. A letter? A. What? A. What? A.
For Russians now, it doesn't even matter who came up with Pull Chuds, when, or why. They're only interested in three things: where the pickles from the Pol Chud's museum disappear to, how a car fits into the black box, and whether you can choose 2 hours with Yakubovich in the back seat of that very car instead of 2 jewelry boxes.
What's it called? Yakubovich's.
For Yakubovich.
For Yakubovich, to the top.
Stop it.
Naturally, like everything else in Russia, Pol Chud's has turned into cheap, vulgar, and dumb-as-a-drum propaganda.
Today, the guys with combat medals on their chests are all from the combat zone. I admire your courage, and I'm happy that you're here with us in the studio today.
A bit more old school. You all remember the show Guess the Melody with its eccentric host.
I declare the start of the first round.
This show also got tainted by theft, although they started out more decently than Pol Chud's. At first, the crafty hands at Ostankino bought the license for the franchise of the popular American show named that tune. But in 1998, a major economic crisis hit Russia, completely wiping out the value of the ruble, and the only song every Russian was singing was "My Finances Are Singing the Blues." Guess the Melody could no longer pay royalties to the format rights holder, Sandy Frank Entertainment. The NATO folks once again threw a wrench in the works for the Russian world and refused to lower the cost of the TV show license. The contract with them was terminated. And then, as usual, came some good old-fashioned Russian stealing. Starting November 20th, 1999, a new TV show called Guess and Company aired, supposedly an original format.
Good evening, dear viewers. The delightful show Guess and Company reminds you that every single evening, no matter the season or the weather, can truly be a starry and memorable one if you choose to spend it with us right here.
Interestingly, many Russian and Soviet songs that were guessed on this show were actually very plagiarized from Western artists.
Katyusha was coming down to the riverbank.
Nasha Rasha, a mind-blowingly popular sketch show from the comedy club crew, pumped up by Gazprom's money.
It's a moped. Not a moped, a model.
The idea for Nasha Rasha was completely copied from the British show Little Britain. That show also features a collection of sketches about people from different cities across Britain. The creators of Nasha Rasha admitted they were inspired by the Brits, but still claimed that Nasha Rasha is an original product.
So we came up with all this, watched Little Britain, got together ourselves, and had a good laugh. We had wonderful writers.
Hibiscus tea is an original product, independent from regular tea. But Nasha Rasha is plagiarism. Even the topics for the sketches suspiciously resemble the British ones. For example, in Little Britain there's a gay character who's in love with his boss and constantly harasses him. Doesn't that ring a bell?
I love you, Mihailovich. You gotta understand.
This, nowadays in Russia, you could end up behind bars for something like that. LGBT propaganda among Putin's nuclear electorate is a big no-no. By the way, the main writer of the show, Semyon Slepikov, left the swamp right after the full-scale invasion began. Smart move. It's better to stay far away from that kind of Russia. Somewhere in Britain, maybe.
No involvement. No involvement. No in disgusting Bobla.
But Delustian and Svetlikov stayed behind to serve the Kremlin Nazis. Gazprom money really warms up those unprincipled little paws.
Break your legs, and I'll carry you in my arms, huh?
Through the storeroom, you can go.
Evening Urgent isn't an original idea either. It's a clone of classic American late-night shows like Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon.
Just incredible. That was probably the most awkward moment of my life. Did you blush? Yeah, I was in shock.
According to one TV critic, the creators of Evening Urgent copied the Saturday Night Live intro shot for shot. the entrance from Conan's show, Jay Leno's couch, and Letterman's desk. When do you think the commercial break was? So here the three of us were talking. About what? About conflicts between countries? About global tensions? No. So, on the main Russian TV channel, they launched a show that was completely American in spirit, meaning, and form. And it looked really strange among Malakov's laundry.
I'm trying to understand. My daughter is 15, and she wants to go to the front.
Now I want to talk to her.
Because there's no other way. Right now, the fate of our entire country is being decided, and I can't just stand by.
And the crazy healer Malasheva surrounded by vaginas and hemorrhoids.
And even if I'm just an ordinary uterus, honestly, I always tear the uterus.
And as a bonus, here are a few supposedly Russian TV series whose origins will really surprise you. UnderEmpire. Even if you haven't seen it, you've definitely heard something about it. There was a character, a dumb jock, played by an actor who's even dumber in real life.
And well, so now we have serfdom. What is that? Serfdom. Oh, slaves. No, serfdom meant a person was tied to a specific plot of land. You couldn't start your own business, an LLC, or pay taxes yourself. All of that was done for you by the landowner. You just worked here.
The show is copied from the popular American series University or Greek. It's a reference to the Greek system of student fraternities and sororities. University was carefully adapted to fit Makshan realities, but you can still recognize the character types from the original show in the main cast. The creator of University, Desmakamatov, later produced another knockoff, Interns, with the lead role played by the Goida of all Rus.
Goida, brothers and sisters.
Goida.
Desmakamatov, without any hesitation, claimed that this was entirely his own idea and had nothing to do with any other TV series. But you'd have to be a deaf, blind squash not to notice the striking resemblance between Interns and the American series Scrubs, which is originally called Scrubs, that is, literally, the second string. In the original plot, the interns start working at the clinic and are placed under the supervision of a tyrannical, eccentric doctor who isn't exactly thrilled about the burden. Murphy. Dr. Murphy. The doctor yells at the interns, insults them, and trolls them. Stop. Are you already confused about which show we're talking about? Oklobiston's character is an exact copy of the iconic Dr. Cox from Scrubs. The idea for Interns, which Desmakamatov supposedly came up with all by himself under the covers, for some reason looks a lot like the plot of Scrubs. There are two options here. Either the creators of Scrubs traveled to the future, watched Interns, threw up because of Oklobiston, and then went back to the past to make their own derivative show, or Desmakamatov is lying. Piracy and plagiarism are the calling cards of Russian television. And now, their golden era is about to begin. Because in Russia, there are now open calls at the state level to steal Western intellectual property.
You know what? Look for, the right and appropriate pirates and then download from them. If they've truly left us, like Netflix and all the rest of the streaming services, then we'll just download absolutely everything. We'll use it completely for free.
Now we're just waiting for Avatar starring Zagurda and How I Met Your Mother with KVN comedians from Perm. Stop. Actually, that show already exists. Get lost, idiot.
I would like to remind you that this video is created for entertainment purposes and contains elements of satire and irony. All facts and events are presented in a hyperbolized or exaggerated form to convey a comedic or dramatic effect. Our goal is not to mislead, but to highlight humor. Please take it with a smile.